Welcome to a community update from the Department of Senior Affairs. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Today's title of the show is Your Health is Your Wealth, and with us to discuss that is Dr. Joe Casper. And Doc, welcome to the show, man. I mean,
Thank
just
you.
in talking to you before the show, I mean, I'm ramped up, baby. I mean, so I just know you a little bit. You know, we both work at ProView Networks as well, and I've wanted to have you on the show. And as I've mentioned to you several times,
Yes.
Our show is about seniors, about health, about issues to make them healthier, live longer. And in just speaking to you for 5 minutes, man, it's like, wow, you know. And, you know, everybody's program and motivation and dedication is different. You know that. But in talking to you, man, I mean, you're still playing, and we'll get to that later, but you're still playing active baseball at 51?
Yes, sir.
And when you said that you're playing with these kids, you kind of, man, because I'm 55, you know, I'm a little bit older than you. But life doesn't end at 50, and a lot of people, you know, it certainly does, not anymore. Things have changed and healthy, you know, and we'll get to that. But I guess the first question I want to ask you, and people are going to, you fit in our category, doctor. You know, you're 51, you know, seniors in town can go to any center and sign up for a membership at 50. So you fit right there.
Yes.
And people are going to want to know, you know, because I think when I turned 50, I was like, man, but I still feel great. I really do. I feel really well. But why is health so much a part of your life personally?
Well, I'll put it this way. I admit this freely. I have a fear of death. I do. Sounds crazy, but I do. I don't want to die. I want to live as long and as healthy as I can. I kind of remember Jack LaLanne?
Sure.
That was my guy. Lived to be 96. I really feel that you have an opportunity in this world to live longer. The problem with our country is we're living shorter and dying longer. Why should the last 10 years of your life be in a nursing home? Doesn't have to happen. And I feel that if you teach people the right things to do and they do them, they have a greater chance of surviving. I really feel that from my heart. So myself, I believe in working out, eating healthy. And you know, you talk to people and sometimes they don't have the knowledge of what to really do. And that's what I try to do with my patients and clients around the world is teach them things that they can do to live longer and be without pain and to cut back on the medicine, all the things that can be better for them. Because I don't think we have to get older and all of a sudden our health goes in the toilet. That's what society teaches. Mm-hmm. It's wrong. It's dead wrong.
I think you're absolutely right about that because I think, you know, the Jack LaLanne. Now, I've read a lot about Jack LaLanne, and he stopped eating sugar at a very young age. I think, you know, he just and dedicated himself and for the rest of his life to exercise, eating. I mean, he was imagine how much money he'd be making today if there was a Jack LaLanne. You know, the Jack LaLanne show, I mean, this guy was ripped, you know, incredible physical specimen, really. And it lasted until 96 years old. We should all be so lucky. But I think the other thing you're talking about is quality of life, not just living a longer life, but it doesn't have to be where you're bedridden, things like that. Because people worry about it. I worry about it too. I think to myself, if the Lord lets me live 20 more years, I'm going to be 75, right?
Right.
So what's that going to be like? So I think a lot of people want to know what your secret might be. Now, it might not work for everybody, but they want to know. So with that, what can seniors do to be healthier, doctor? What can they do and start maybe, you know, again, we're in the midst of the holidays, which will air after, but what can they do to maybe start thinking as the new year approaches what they can do to be healthier?
Well, let me explain. First of all, you make some really good points. A lot of stuff is common sense, and I think people got to understand what common sense is. So let me give a good example. When a woman is pregnant, okay, she is told not to drink alcohol and not to drink coffee, correct?
Right.
Okay. So wouldn't common sense say don't do that on a regular basis, right? But what do most people do? They have alcohol a couple times a week and coffee every day. And then you find these studies that say they're healthy. It's not. It's really a lie. But my thing is this, use common sense. People are going to have bad habits. We're all human, we're all flawed. But I'm trying to tell you is don't do bad things on a regular basis. It affects each person different. You might drink coffee every day and have no problems. The next person has a liver issue, a kidney issue, okay? So everyone's different, and we try to follow the trends. Now, you said the New Year's coming up. New Year's resolutions are a joke. They don't work. They haven't worked. So why do people have to put on 10 pounds this month? They don't have to, okay? It doesn't mean being perfect, but you don't have to put on this weight, okay, to fit in with your friends and family. That's the problem, Ed, okay? That is the problem. Because if you're in your family structure and your friends structure that way, and everyone's eating and drinking, bad food, all this stuff, and you go, I don't want that, they go, what's wrong with you? instead of saying what's right with you. If you do really healthy habits and your friends don't, you're going to have to get new ones. And people say, no, it's like changing religions. So I try to teach people to not go extreme unless you want to, okay? But at the, for the new year, if you're going to go on this diet and this cleanse and no sugar, no chemical, it's not going to work for most people. That's not who you are as a person, okay? Jack LaLanne's a different breed. I'm a different breed, okay? I eat sugar sometimes, but guess what? I eat the most organic I can, but that's my choice, okay? So you want to know what the person is willing to do. If the person is not a normal organic or healthy eater, they don't work out normally, and all of a sudden on January 2nd or whatever they start their program, they're going to the gym for 2 hours, they're watching everything, it won't last. By March, they're finished. And then the same cycle happens again.
Right.
And every year putting on 2 or 3 pounds, but in 20 years, you're obese and you have an illness and you're diabetic. You don't have to be that. But most people accept it. I won't. My dad had a heart attack when I was a junior in college. You know what I said to myself? That's not happening to me. And it's not going to. So I take this really serious, Ed, really serious.
Again, Doc, and you would agree, there's people, and look, I've been around teams, sports coach, referee, people are mentally tough in some situations and some people aren't. Yeah, for you, that might have been a wake-up call for your father that you saw that and you said to yourself, and I can already tell, Joe, that you've got that spirit, that will, that will, right? You're still playing ball at, with young kids. Not a lot of people, some people don't. It's not, it won't fit for some. The message is strong and it's the right one for sure. Some people do fall off. They do.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
But I still think, you're making me think about a lot of things as well. But I think the message itself is definitely something that people need to listen to because you're right. Those New Year's resolutions where I work at, I'm the manager at Manzano Mesa Multi-Generational Center. We have a fitness center, right? So in January, boom, we get hit with 200 memberships for the month, right?
Of course.
And then, like you said, the cycle in March, back to they hit it hard for a couple months, maybe even myself, and then boom, you're back on the train, the wrong train.
That's been going on for 100 years or more longer. But again, the reason why is because people want to fit in. They don't want to be different. Okay? It's like a herd. Most people look at the way the world is, right? What 5% of people own businesses, the rest have jobs, right? Which is fine, nothing wrong with it. But most people don't want to be. They don't want to rock the boat. Okay? And that's part of it. And in my family, I'm the black sheep of my family totally. I mean, I'll admit this. I write books, I invent things, all these great health stuff, but guess what? Most of my family doesn't take any of the stuff I do. You know why? Because I'm different than them.
Interesting.
Even if I gave them all my stuff for nothing, they still wouldn't use it. The books I write, the things I invent, nope, they wouldn't take it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting because you're making a point again where
Yeah.
some people think they need to be, and and we'll talk more. But I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And I think it's a good message. Now, Doctor, this is a question that when you wrote it, I thought about my wife. She takes her vitamins just about every morning. And do vitamins really work? Do they really make a difference? That's a question I know that my wife's going to be interested in this answer.
I'm going to answer it right now. Okay. First of all, there's a lot of vitamin companies. I'm not going to mention names because I can't. Okay, not going to happen. They're in Walmart, they're in Walgreens, they're in Whole Foods, all over all these stores, online, Amazon, you name it. And everyone claims they have the best of the best. Okay. Almost every single company, even network marketing companies, MLM stuff, almost every company has a filler. And I will name what those are, okay? So if the vitamins have magnesium stearate, titanium dioxide, red, yellow dyes, all that stuff, okay? It doesn't have to be, okay? The companies are cheap. In other words, that saves money. It's about money. So when it says all natural and then it says other ingredients and you see those things, they're crap or garbage. Part of my language here, okay? That's the problem. And they also, too, is they make so many of them, they're sitting on the shelf. When you buy vitamins in the store, they're 8 months to a year old before they go in your body. I know because I know how to formulate vitamins. That's the point. That's the problem. They're not as fresh as they could be.
Interesting.
So you're not getting what you think you're getting. So it's almost like when you go to the growers market, in Robinson Park on the weekends, which I love when they're open about 7 months a year. When I get my lettuce there on Saturday morning, it was picked Saturday morning or Friday night, so less than 24 hours. That lettuce is so crystal clean. It's so good for you. All the nutrients are there. Okay? So vitamins are made and they're a week or two old. That would be the best kind to get. Not many companies do that. I know the ones that do, okay? But most don't do that because it costs more money to make, and most companies are not willing to do that. That's the problem.
Hey, Joe, a great explanation about vitamins, and you wanted to finish it up with one more point. Go ahead.
So the thing with vitamins is make sure you get the stuff that's the cleanest, okay? And as fresh as humanly possible. So when you see like buy one, get one free, there's a reason. It's not because they like you. So be careful of those. Be very careful.
Okay, I think that's really important too. Joe, I'm sorry I didn't say the whole thing. Clinical nutritionist, exercise physiologist, dynamic keynote speaker, master level health coach. There's a lot of things you're doing here and a lot of things that you're involved with. So I wanted to ask you, tell us about some of your successes with clients around the globe.
Well, I'm very proud of that. I have had a number of great things happen. Okay, my greatest triumph ever is getting my father, after a massive stroke, from death's doorstep and being paralyzed to walking. I guaranteed people when he was paralyzed that a year later he'd be walking. In fact, I remember when I was in my baseball league, I told him, I said, I want my dad throwing out the first pitch. And this is when he had 2 days to live. I said, next year at this time, they go, Joe, you're out of your mind. I said, like I said, when it happens, it will, and it did. And they did a whole nice article in Staten Island called Casper's No Ghost, which I thought was nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my greatest triumph, getting my dad from dying to alive and walking. I was very proud of that. And then my mother was diagnosed with cancer, not once, but twice. She never had it. The lab made a mistake twice. I figured that out. Because when we get blood work done, a lot of times we believe what they say, right?
Right.
Well, when you get your blood work done, people don't realize this, the lab works on anywhere from 200 to 500 people's blood a day, depending on the city you live in. Now think about this, Ed. If you were a lab tech, you might make a mistake or two if you had 500 people's blood to work on.
Sure.
Right. It's like an accountant. An accountant during tax season is working too many hours, so that's what happens in that profession, and no one talks about that. And I figured that out, and that's why my mom, she never had it. And the funny thing is when she was diagnosed, I went to New York a few months later, and the doctor said when I went with her, and she begged me not to rip his head off, that in June, he goes, your mom doesn't have cancer at this time. I said, sir, how did she have it in April, not have it in June? Where did it disappear to? And he wasn't allowed to legally tell me what happened. I said, I know what happened. We both know what happened. She never had it. And he just sat there and didn't say a word because he couldn't. Sad, isn't it?
What year was this?
That was 4 years ago.
Oh, the reason I'm asking is because in '72, my mother passed away last year in '91, but they said my mother had breast cancer, and my mother, to the day she died, always questioned that. No chemotherapy, no radiation treatment, things like that. So when you said that, it kind of just, that's why you caught my look like that.
Yeah.
Because,
she probably didn't have it.
My mother, to the end of the day, she died. I mean, she had to go through a lot. I was 10 years old at the time. She made it through and lived to 91.
Right, yeah.
But, when you said that, it kind of got me.
How many people have an illness or a disease that are misdiagnosed? People do the best job they can. Someone told me 40%. I think anywhere probably 25 to 33% of anything you diagnose with, you never had to begin with. It's hard to prove that. And now, it's not always the case, but in other words, so humans make mistakes. That's the whole point. And when you work with lots of people, okay, or lots of people's blood, mistakes do happen.
Interesting.
No one talks about it. No one talks about it.
Well, that's interesting, Doctor. But back to again, great information. You're really you're a great guest, Doc. And people can ask. There's the Mediterranean diet. There's the Greek diet. There's so many diets out there. So many, as far as what food should I eat, what should I? No sugar, no this, no that. And you mentioned going extreme sometimes. What people are going to want to know, and maybe you can. Which diets are the best?
You're not going to like this, folks. 0. Let me say it again. 0. I believe to fire your diet. Okay? Can I tell you what DIET stands for? Can I give you my acronym?
Yeah, go ahead.
DIET stands for depression, insecurity, emotional trauma. Let me say that again. A DIET stands for depression, insecurity, emotional trauma. It's a victim club. You can't keep up the pace. So gluten-free, sugar-free. Watch this. Count the carbs, protein, all it's not lasting. When I meet people and they go, I'm going to watch everything, and I go, how long are you going to last? They go, forever. I go, no, you won't. You won't. Most people won't. You got to be realistic. So that's what scares me with the diets. People are going to lose weight in January, and they're going to all gain it back because their bodies aren't made to do what they're going to do. Mentally, they're not there. Okay? They're trying to, I don't want to mention names, but they're trying these programs that the 99% will never last. You got to deal with the personality. When I work with people, and sometimes they come here, I fly to their house, whatever it may be, I have to know their personality, their home situation, their job, everything to construct the correct program. There's no one size fits all. There's no cookie cutter. So everyone has different needs. So let me give a good example. Let's say a lot of people like, let's say, cheese, right? Right? People like cheese. And what I do is I'll rather put someone on goat cheese than cow because it's easier in the digestive system. And out here we have people have goats in their backyard. Some people, which is great. Okay, you can get raw goat cheese from different people if you have neighbors. Anyway, that's what I do. But reality-wise is that's a better choice than say no cheese at all, right? Or let's say you like organic cookies. I'm sorry, regular cookies. So I would say try the organic. Make it so they can enjoy the process and it can be realistic for their personality and behavior. Okay? When I hear nutritionists go, chicken's better than red meat. No, it's not. They don't know what they're talking about. It's completely wrong. Chicken is, if it's not processed the right way, it's dirty. So we live out here, people have elk and deer meat, right?
Right.
Elk and deer are red meat. 1,000 times healthier than chicken in the store. 1,000 times.
Really?
On the food front, how was it made? How were the animals fed? The process that happened before it went into your mouth. It's common sense again. That's what people don't talk about. Cow is much harder to digest than elk. Goat's easier to digest than cow. It's common sense. You can look it up. Now, of course, the pharmaceutical companies and the dairy industry doesn't want you to know that because it's not good for business. It's a reality. This is just. I think most things are common sense, Ed. I really do.
They are. You're right. And I think sometimes, and I don't know if you'd agree or not, people don't probably take the time that you do, of course, that they should. Because when you just said that about elk and deer, I'm like, because we got a lot of hunters out here, right? We do. And when you said that, I'm like, okay, and I read a lot. I do. But that just that really made me think. That'll make people think when they see it. That's what we want is information. It's the information highway, and that's the only way you better yourself is the information. But you're saying it's right there if people just take the time to look for it.
Right. Let me make a point. So, okay, when people go hunting, right? They go hunting into the wild. The land is not sprayed. The animals are eating, off the ground. They're not eating other animals, right? They're not.
Right.
So that is, and then if someone shoots the animal the best way they can, they clean it themselves or they have a place to do it. That's as organic as you're going to get. It's not in a factory, right?
It's not been touched on,
right,
stepped
right.
on,
so
processed,
correct. So
pasteurized, whatever else. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's a great point. Now, someone might say they don't want to eat meat because of their beliefs. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the person who goes around saying chicken's better than red meat, they're wrong. They're so wrong. They're so wrong. And I think that's the thing we got to be educated, but educated the right way. This is not in the textbooks.
Right.
It's not, and it never will be. It won't be allowed to. And a lot of studies are inconclusive because studies are based on large groups, right? Remember the cholesterol study many, many years ago? That's a scam too. You know why? I knew 3 people that got thrown out of the original study because their statistics didn't show that the drugs worked. So they got thrown out of the study. I was diagnosed 15 years ago with high cholesterol, okay? 15 years ago. The medical doctor did a blood test, okay? And he goes like this. He goes, you have your cholesterol. I was early 30s. He goes, your cholesterol is 240. You got a problem. Now, I didn't have the knowledge I have now. And I go, okay, do the test again. That's all I could think to do. The test came up 240 again. He goes, I'm going to put you on a statin drug. I said, no, you're not. I said, what's the best lab in the state? He goes, insurance won't cover it. That wasn't my question, was it? I said, what's the best lab in the state? So I paid $450 for a cholesterol test in North Carolina in 2002. It came back 138. 240, 138. I don't know which is right or wrong, but if I didn't know what I know, I could have been put on statin drugs for the rest of my life and believe what they said.
Which a lot of people do, right?
Absolutely,
right, okay.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but that's, I think that's very interesting that those things do happen. You're right. Humans make errors and they don't mean to, but there is my misdiagnosis that in a lot of your cases that you spoke about could have been, things could have turned out.
Right. See, people come to me, why? Because they've tried a lot of the medical stuff and they're tired of being tired. They have no energy. The thyroid's off. Something's not right. They're on blood pressure medicine, whatever it may be. And they're like, you know what? I want to live. I need your help, Dr. Joe. So that's what they do that with me.
Let's move along, Doc. We got about 10 minutes here.
Okay.
How is food and medicine? You mentioned some things that frankly speaking, really surprised me. But explain to everybody else what your thoughts are about that.
Food being medicine.
Right.
If you eat better foods, it can heal your body. Okay, it's proven. If you have stuff without pesticides, if you eat better quality foods, and in Albuquerque here, we have, and there's 14 stores in this town. Okay, that not count regular supermarkets that have organic food. 14, and the growers markets, and so we have so many options here. Okay, and the stuff is not that expensive. The same people who might say I can't afford healthy food are the same people who have season tickets for the Lobos, who go out with their friends and have beer for $100 a pop, right?
Right.
Bad food. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And people go, I'll do it in New Year's. And your stomach grows, Guys, I'm sorry, there's too many men out there. Don't get pregnant. It's not natural to look like this. You don't have to. You don't. Why do you want that to happen to yourself? Start getting foods that heal. Drink more water, more purified water. Don't starve yourself. Don't skip meals. Okay.
That doesn't help.
Right. But have a nutritious breakfast. And I'm sorry, fast food is not the answer. Not. It is not. It's so bad. The oils are rancid in that food. Even some of the 5-star restaurants don't have the best quality food. I know how the food industry is. It's not as clean as you think. Make your own stuff. Cook the stuff. Don't use a microwave so much because that actually breaks down the food molecularly. It's not a good thing to do. Eat real food. Look for the better option. Okay? So don't have so much cookies and chips and all that other stuff.
Right.
And an example, like here's the thing I'm big into now. People like ice cream, right? Who doesn't like ice cream, right? Companies out there there's a chocolate goat ice cream you can get. Tastes great. 4 ingredients, not bad, right? That's pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah. I can't say the name because I can't, but
right.
There's a chocolate goat ice cream, fantastic. Right? Now, is it perfect? No. Does it have a little bit of sugar? Yeah, but there's no chemicals in it. And it tastes good. My own mother loves it. She eats it all the time, she'll tell you.
So yeah, these are interesting things about food and what's best for you, and what's, of course, you mentioned some things here that I think people would be very interested in listening to, because people get in habits, and you mentioned even during the holidays coming up, people are probably thinking, I'll just wait till, January,
of course.
I'll get the, especially here, you already know the enchiladas, the pozole, the bizcochitos, the stuff that New Mexico has, for holidays, and everybody looks forward to that, and then they're thinking probably I'll just wait, I'll wait till till January. We'll start then.
It's funny when I work with someone and we don't wait. Actually, it's better. Now, one thing I want to mention about food, I just remembered this. Here's the thing that people can do that could really help them. Some easy tips. If you're going to eat animal protein, have a salad before the animal protein to help break it down. So if you're going out to dinner or you're home, salad, animal protein. Does that make sense?
Okay. All right.
Now, here's the thing when people go wrong. Don't ever have fruit for dessert. Because fruit, after a meal, ferments in your stomach if it's on a full stomach. So in reality, fruit by itself for a snack, then your salad, then your animal protein. It'll be better for your digestive system.
Okay.
And that can also help with the weight loss too.
Yeah, important.
Yes.
Important stuff that people don't know. Doc, we're going to move on here. What exercise is best? And this is something that seniors, I think, ask all the time and ask themselves. And some lift weights. Some, I do a lot of walking. For me, walking works a lot because I have a big place where I work at, and I can get up and get a lot of steps in. But what exercise is best for seniors and why?
Okay. Let me say it this way. When people get older, osteoporosis hits, right? Bones break down. And by the way, cow's milk actually breaks bone tissue down. It doesn't help it. That's another fallacy and a myth and a lie. Okay?
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cow's milk is bad. Bad. Anyway. So I believe we need to strength train, okay? And I'll use my mom as an example. My mom is almost 80 years old, okay? She'll be 80 soon, a couple weeks, okay? She can't walk that much. She's had double knee replacement. She can't go for a mile walk, impossible. But she can do the strength training program I designed for her. Twice a week in the gym, no problem. Sometimes 3 times. And she goes for other stuff too. So she can do that. She can go on the machines, lift the free weights, do them in controlled, slow method without a problem. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and guess what? When she goes for those bone density tests, the doctor goes, whatever your son's doing, listen to him. So she can adapt to that. See, Now, would my mother rather go to Atlantic City in Jersey and go gambling? Sure. And get a massage? Sure. She goes to the gym and works out because she doesn't want to die. She'll tell you that. It goes back to common sense again.
Right.
She still does her fun stuff, okay? Still would rather do that, but knows, guess what? Hey, if I don't eat healthier, if I don't work out, I'm going to put on 20 or 30 pounds. Then I'm going to be in more pain. Then I'm going to have to take medicine. She doesn't want that.
So it all connects.
Absolutely.
All connects.
Yes.
Man.
Yep.
So you're saying that strength training is probably some
Yes.
kind of strength training
Yes,
program.
a workout
is the
with
best
a nice
for
circuit.
seniors.
Yes, yes, that you can do. It works for you. It'll burn calories. It'll build strength. It'll build some muscle tissue. Absolutely, you can strength train almost pretty much the day you die, if the program's constructed correctly, and the person knows what they're doing as well.
You mentioned Jack LaLanne. I mean, he did that till the day. The sit-ups,
Yes.
that guy was incredibly
Right,
strong.
correct.
There were some things he did at an older age that people just marveled at.
Yeah,
Incredible.
But you know the best thing about Jack LaLanne was positive thinking, positive talk. It's huge. If you're around emotional vampires and angry victims, people who are negative, it's going to destroy you, Ed.
Right.
Right? Think about that.
Yeah.
Who wants that aggravation?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
We got two questions for you. And they're both very important.
Okay.
Why do medical doctors tell their patients not to take vitamins when they are taking medicine, cholesterol, blood pressure, and thyroid? Why do doctors tell their patients that?
Well, other medicines as well. Good question. What happens is when people, also when people going in for surgeries and stuff too, the doctors fear that the vitamins will block how the medicine is flowing through your system. Okay. They have a valid point because almost every company, as I mentioned earlier, has fillers. Magnesium stearate, titanium dioxide, red and blue dyes, all these chemicals that are fillers in the vitamins, okay, which they feel possibly, okay, not guaranteed, possibly could cause the medicine not to work and not work correctly. So what I tell people very simple as this is, if you're taking a pure whole food supplement, whatever they may be, with no fillers, the freshest ingredients, that won't be a problem. It won't. But you have to know what you're taking. Read the label. Read it. And if you're not sure what that chemical is, it's probably a chemical.
Right.
You can't read it.
Very important.
Yes.
Read the labels.
Right, exactly. And most will show, even if it says all natural, 100% organic, raw, whatever, and then on the side it says, oh, and then it's also made in a facility that has all these things, so there's cross-contamination too.
I get it.
So if your organic vitamins or raw vitamins are made in a facility that has tree nuts, soy, and food and seafood, whatever, you got a problem possibly, especially with the gluten-free people.
Joe, one more question. We got about a minute left, and this is I'd save the best for last.
Okay.
How can we live longer?
Very simple, okay? More water, more positive thinking, stay away from angry people. That's very, very important. Eat real food, don't skip meals, and be thankful for what you have, not what you don't have.
Joe Casper, clinical nutritionist, exercise physiologist, dynamic keynote speaker, master level health coach. Your health is your wealth. Thanks so much for being our guest.
My pleasure.
You bet.
Thank
bet.
you, sir.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
For the Department of Senior Affairs, I'm Ed Nunez.